October 26th. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the poplar trees, move out to battle, because that will mean God has gone out in front of you. 1 Chronicles chapter 14 verse 15. Perhaps it is no coincidence that the battles of the greatest warrior in the Old Testament teach us so much about spiritual warfare. The context of today's verse is that the Philistines had attacked Israel and David inquired of the Lord for guidance. He did this despite having won many battles against them previously. David did not depend on his own experience or wisdom, but sought God's strategy. And God gave him this word: "As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the poplar trees, move out to battle, because that will mean God has gone out in front of you." David could not rely on his own battle-hardened experience and previous victories, but had to wait for God to move. The sign was the sound of marching in the treetops. This was not just the wind making a sound, but the sound of an actual army marching. The Hebrew is literally the sound of stepping. As David and his army waited in the woods, an army of angels with God at its head was marching out to do battle ahead of them. The Bible goes on to say that it was God with his angelic army that actually struck the enemy first. David had to move the moment he heard the sound of marching. He had to move after God moved, but before God attacked. He had to move in faith, based on God's word rather than his own sight. And as a result, David won a mighty victory over the Philistines that day. We see here how events in the heavenly realms are manifested here on earth. As the angelic army marched out, David had to follow on the earth by stepping into battle. And when God struck the enemy, David won the victory on earth and defeated the Philistine army. This is the very essence of spiritual warfare: seeking God's strategy, waiting for Him to move, discerning angelic activity, responding in obedience and surrender, and reaping the harvest on earth for what is accomplished in heaven. Today's decree: we will move when God moves and manifest on earth what has been accomplished in heaven.